Mr. Carnival, I presume you heard the instructions.
I did, Mr. Mayor. Thank you. Let me comment on the issue of a public hearing. Mr. Nephew raised the question with the staff about what the statute says. And if we're talking about public hearings, we need to talk about the statute. And the statute, as he correctly quoted, says that, number one, you have to have a public hearing and in anticipation of deciding whether you will pass a resolution of intent to organize. You read it exactly correctly. Now, it seems to me that, number one, characterizing this as some sort of planning process, number one, is not quite accurate. And number two, that the issue on the table at the public hearing will be, shall we intend to organize this community, and that what all of you seem to be characterizing as a planning process to determine whether you want to do this is not accurate. Councilmember Nephew read the statute that says that first 90-day period is to determine how to organize, planning with the haulers on how we shall organize our garbage system, not whether we should organize our garbage system. So the public hearing is the appropriate time for the citizens to tell you, we don't want you to intend to organize, and that's what will happen at that public hearing. My guess is that you will have a public hearing. You will continue to tell people we're simply in the discussion phase, when in fact that's not what you are under the statute. You're in the phase of deciding how to do this, not whether to do this. It's an important distinction, and I'm glad Councilmember Nephew read that to the council tonight, because that's in fact the situation. I also want to make a comment about what I thought was something very curious, and that was that I see your March newsletter, your city news, and it says there that the City Council has scheduled a public hearing to adopt a resolution of intent to organize. Well, it seems to me that's what you're here to do tonight, and that you're already published something that said you've done it. A little odd to me. Secondly, it says that the public hearing is a public hearing to adopt a resolution of intent to organize. That seems to me that's not a quite correct characterization either. You had a public hearing this evening that said, public hearing, consider approval of a grant application. Shouldn't you be saying to the citizens that we're having a public hearing to determine whether we ought to pass a resolution to intend to organize and go down that road? Seems to me perhaps semantic, but I think perhaps not. You're characterizing things that seem to be fait accompli, if you ask me. Also noticed in the article that's in the news release today that you cite the current benefits of organized collection and don't cite any of the benefits of the open system. You don't cite the fact that 70% of your citizens said that they were opposed to it. You don't cite the fact that you spend $5,000 already.
Get back to the topic.
Or that you might spend $60,000.
Get back to the topic.
All of those things are in. You wrote an article, sir.
That is correct. And so if you can relate that to our decision we have to make tonight, feel free to do so. If you cannot, then sit down.
Well, sir, your article says you're committed to educating the people on the pros and cons of organized versus open. Sir, I suggest that perhaps you haven't gotten off to a very good start.
Not with your help, that's for sure. You're done. Thank you.
No, I'm not, sir.
Yes, you are. Sit down.
Thank you. I hope the people are watching.
I hope so, too. All right, next.
Willard Tennyson.